first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler, and thank you very much for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. This month, October, is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and really, it should be something that you practice every single day, but there are some specific things that we wanted to touch on here over this month, and one of them has to do with employment scams, something that, unfortunately, a lot of people have been the victims of. These are organizations or groups that send out things saying, hey, here's a job notice, you apply for it, turns out it's not a job. That's one very simple example. We're going to get a lot more into it, though, to talk about some different things you should be aware of. We speak with Emma Stocker, who is the Information Security Governance Manager, at OnPoint Community Credit Union, to talk about cybersecurity. So Emma's going to be joining us here to go over that and just really think about what some of these different scams are, how you can avoid them, and things to do even if you do perhaps fall victim to them. So really important things for everybody to know. Let's hear from Emma right now. Thank you very much for joining us here today. I really appreciate your time in talking about this, because it is something that is so prevalent now and affects so many people. And I'm talking about employment scams. And, for everybody out there, particularly in this job market where there's a lot of people trying to find work and unfortunately falling victim sometimes to some of these things. And I was hoping, if we could start off, could you just let us know, about why this is such a big issue right now?
Absolutely. And we hope that a job seeker is feeling excitement to start a new chapter of their life and maybe head in a different direction with their career. But that's what scammers are looking for. They're looking for an emotional moment. They're looking for a chance to take an opportunity with somebody, to manipulate them. And so they're setting up fake ads. They're setting up fake job portals, promising the sun and the moon. And unfortunately, we are hearing about people falling victim to that, getting taken advantage of, money, information being stolen.
And, when we're talking about that, you mentioned some of those different things that they're doing. Like, can we talk about some of those tactics that they're employing out there? But employing, maybe that's a poor word to use, but tactics that they're utilizing for these people, to try to go after some of these job seekers.
Yeah, it's, a scam is a scam, right? And so they're looking for an emotional moment. They're looking for a way in. And so they're creating these portals. Some tactics they might be using is sense of urgency, right? Sort of too good to be true. We'll get you to 100 different employers or offer you a job that is kind of too good to be true. So it's 2 hours a week for a ton of money, or really vague offer sometimes, and they're wanting to just sort of have you hang on and provide more information about yourself so they can sell that on the dark web for a profit, or continue to scam you, get money from you, get more information from you. Yeah,
I mean, and that's unfortunately, just some of those things that are out there. And so when you're talking about it, from that standpoint, for the people who are getting scammed, what are some of those specific things that they can look out for, that they can utilize that can be helpful to them to try to avoid some of these things?
Absolutely. So you can look for emails that don't make sense. The email address of the person you're talking to or of the website itself is too generic or just completely unrelated. That's a clue that the pieces aren't adding up. If the individual or the person you're talking with is asking for too much information, right? You're at a very early point in the job conversation and they're asking for bank information, they're asking for social security number. Eventually, you'll need to maybe share those with the employer, but not up front, right? So too much information up front. If there's a conversation about you sending money or cashing a check on their behalf, that's just not legitimate. That just doesn't have any place in that early job seeking moment. So those upfront fees, big red flag. No interview, right? Hey, thanks for your resume. You got the job. That's not typically how job interviews go. And so that would be a red flag as well. Urgency, again, we've talked about that. Those moments of like act now, or that sweet deal is going to be gone. That's not really how those typical job application opportunities happen. And so those are all some red flags to look out for.
Which is unfortunate too, because it's somebody who, if you are seeking a job, obviously there's a need there, and
Yeah.
you know, you're vulnerable at that point, and you see something like that, and you're like, okay, yes, I got to take care of this right now. Here's my opportunity. And unfortunately, yeah, some of these scams are going on. So
That's part of the scam. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, well, for the job seekers too, what are some different ways they can research to make sure that, you know, who is contacting them? Because maybe they do get a good offer. Maybe it is like something that's really great, but you want to make sure that this is real. Are there different things they can do to check on that?
Absolutely. You might be able to see the same job posted on different platforms. So if you see it in multiple different locations, that's going to be a clue. It's a real job out there that maybe, you know, is going to be in your future. If you see a job posted on a website or something like that, you can also check the company's website directly. Trust but verify. We talk about that a lot in cybersecurity and internet security, personal information security. So you could reach out to the company, see if they have something linked on their website directly, maybe not the path to apply. You might still go through a different channel, but if the company themselves are saying, we're adding locations, we're adding positions, people to our team, then you'll have a clue that that is a real opportunity out there.
That's good. Good, very, very good advice. Yeah, for everybody out there who is seeing that job. What else do you think is important just for people to know about these scams that are out there, and about, you know, the people that unfortunately are falling victim to that?
It is a tough job market. It's a tough moment. We're hoping that people feel excited about looking for a new job. And there certainly can be a sense of urgency to not fall victim to that, though, in a scam. You want to think about, as much as you would proofread your resume and cover letter, proofread that offer, proofread that website. You want to make sure that you're a good candidate, but also that it's a real offer, and that that's a real opportunity.
Yeah, so just being careful, doing that due diligence to make sure that you look over that and realize that's part of the landscape now, that this is, you know, this is something that's happening, but protecting yourself. I mean, this has just been some really great advice on that. Anything else that you think is important?
I think it's important to stay aware, trust but verify. If you do find yourself have gone down a path with maybe a potential scammer, you can take some of those steps like we've talked about earlier, where you're locking your accounts, you might be freezing your credit. Feel free to come into an OnPoint branch and talk about it if you'd like to take a look at your accounts and make sure that your information, your finances all stay safe and sound.
That's really good advice right there too. Making sure that all of that stuff is secure, and if you have done something, go in and have it checked, and that way you can take care of it from there. But before you go too much deeper into that, well, thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate your time and just going through this and understanding it. And for everybody out there, you know, maybe this isn't you, you're not seeking a job right now, but maybe you know somebody who is. So feel free to share this segment as well and just let other people know about it. And thanks, Emma. Thanks for being here on Fox 12 Now.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
All right, and again, huge thank you to Emma there for joining us. A lot of information in there, and you know, as I mentioned, feel free to share these segments as well. Let other people know about them, because these are scams that are going to be ongoing. They're going to get better and better at what they're doing, and you really want to protect yourself and those you know from something like that. And thanks for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. I do appreciate it. We live stream here every weekday starting at 1 o'clock. We go throughout the afternoon. We cover a wide range of topics, but these videos live on the Fox 12 Oregon app. So I definitely want to recommend that you download that. It's a great way to watch live, but also watch after the fact as well. So whatever platform you're on, there is an app out there, or a website, or however you're finding us. Thanks for doing so. So we do appreciate that. We've got plenty more coming up, but for right now, we'll take a break. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.